Hello and welcome to Make Lunch at USBC. My name's Linda and this is a special edition of Snack Hacks. So as we're coming into the summer holiday, I'm sure that you are inundated with calls and cries from your children of, have you got something to eat? Can we have a snack please? And I'm sure this starts just a short time after breakfast and continues through most of the day. Now it's quite obvious that the children are going to be running around doing things and they do get hungry, and of course at school they would be getting their free piece of fruit mid-morning and then their lunch perhaps a little bit earlier than you have at home, so it's understandable that they will get peckish during the day. But how do you manage that? Because quite often, sometimes when they ask for a snack, they're in fact bored and it's something to do. So having a routine so that they know that there will be a snack in the morning and perhaps another one in the afternoon might be a good way towards managing that. But we're going to show you some tips today about how you might want to think about how you manage snacks during the holiday period. So my first suggestion for you is to get the children to own their own responsibility for their snack times. And one way of doing that is to ask them to make a basket or something for their own snack pile. And what we can do is by having maybe a snack box that they can put their own items in. When they've eaten whatever they've chosen for the day, that's it. So you can set the limit to how many snacks they might be allowed and what sort of snacks they are, but at the start of the day they choose those items and put them into their box or their bag or whatever you choose, and they can select their snacks either at snack time or during the course of the day, however you want to set that out. And that's a way of getting them to take responsibility that it's not the cupboard is not a bottomless pit, and there is some limit on what they can and can't have. So I've just got an empty food container here, and I've put my name on it, so that's me, Linda, and I'm going to put my name on the front of the box just like that, so there can be no argument. So if you've got several children, everybody gets their own box, perhaps they can look differently. Perhaps that's a task that you can do to colour your boxes or your containers or whatever you're going to do for their boxes and receptacles for their snacks. So there's my box. I know that that's mine and what I'm going to do. So the next thing might be to set some ground rules. So are you going to say, here are some items to choose from, you can have your choice of it. So I've got a typical sort of array of things that you might be expected to find for your children during the course of the day. I've got some crisps and some multi-grain bites, chocolate bar, who doesn't like a chocolate bar, and then I've got some fresh fruit as well, because it's important that the children get their balanced diet. And as I said before, they will be used to having their fresh fruit, especially in the mornings from school, if they're in key stage 1. So every day you could put your basket together and then decide how many items that they can choose. And this one says, today's snacks, choose 3 items from the box or the basket. And that could be there as a reminder that they could choose however many. Now, if you want to put some restrictions, i.e. you can only have 1 bag of savoury goodies, then I think you need to set that out at the time, or only put what they can choose from into the basket so that there aren't any upsets or arguments about having the wrong number of any particular item. So that's an idea number 1, that you have your snack box and you ask your children to choose which items they would want. They choose them and put them into the snack box, and then you either allocate snack times, or if they're a little bit older and can take that responsibility for themselves, they can decide when they have their snacks. But the idea is that when those snacks are gone, they're gone until tomorrow, and then they can choose again. If you've got slightly older children, you might want to do something like a shopping list or a menu. This has got prices on it that don't relate whatsoever to the cost of the actual items, but it's a way of getting them to do some budgeting. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can actually do this with hard cash, and I would suggest something like 50p a day You're not giving that to your child. I'll just put that out there at the start. But if you gave them, say, 5 10 pence pieces, and then they could choose their snack items up to that value each day. And this says that I've costed this so that the fruit is cheaper than things like crisps and chocolate, and that way it encourages them to spend their money wisely, because they would get more if they were eating healthier snacks. So we've got apples, bananas and crackers here just for 10p, and then if you want crackers with cheese, that's 15, veggie sticks 10p, crisps are 20, as are chocolate bars, and then a snack bar, a fruit bar, yogurt bar, whatever, 15p. So the idea is that you would have a pot, and that they would buy their items with their 50p and put them into their snack pot in the same way. And then at the end of the day, you take the money, and then the next day you give them the same 50p. So you're not giving them cash, you're just giving them some idea of how to spend. If your children are a bit younger, you could replace the pennies with tokens. So it will cost you 1 token for an apple, or 1 token for a banana, or 2 tokens for some crackers and cheese, and 3 tokens for a bag of crisps perhaps. So that's a way of just getting them to associate that some things cost more, and whether that's just a cardboard token that they coloured in, or whether it's an actual piece of cash. It gives them, again, some responsibility. So what sort of ideas can we have for feeding them? They will be very used to having crisps and chocolate bars, and whilst they're lovely and it's absolutely right and proper that every now and again we all get to have a treat, when they're home every day during the 6 weeks holiday, that can be both very expensive, and it can also be not terribly good for their health. So I've got some ideas for other snack items that I'm going to share with you today, and here's some on my tray. So the first thing I need to tell you is, anyone receiving one of our food boxes, our boxes of hope this summer, we hope you're enjoying them, by the way. We were very fortunate, and we were gifted some lovely chocolate biscuits and some fruit biscuits, and we were also donated boxes and boxes and boxes of these little packets of Cars water biscuits. They come in little packets of 2. So unashamedly, you are getting lots and lots and lots of these in your boxes, for 2 reasons. One, we've been given them, and it would be lovely to share them with you. But secondly, they're actually really very versatile, and there are lots of different things that you can do with this. So I've come to show you just a few. So obviously they're really good with cheese. Cheese is very expensive, and it's not something that you might be wanting your children to eat every day, every opportunity. But there are some alternatives. So this week in the boxes we've been giving you some cheese spread triangles, and one of those will go a long way on 3 or 4 of these crackers. So that's an immediate hit, good snack, very filling, giving some protein, giving some dairy at the same time. In the same way, you can use cream cheese, soft cream cheese. One of the fake Phillies will be just as good on top of these. And with that, if you buy the plain, you can then add whatever you like to it. You can put in some herbs or some seasonings or whatever. But these biscuits are just 2 small little water biscuit crackers, and they are ideal. Another idea to do with these is, here you might be able to see, is just some natural yogurt, and I put some cucumber and a little bit of seasoning in it, and that's called tzatziki. And the idea is then that you can break your cracker and use it and scoop up some dip. And if you've got, or you can make some hummus, or even something like a hard-boiled egg with some margarine or some mayo put into it and whipped up until it's a nice soft paste. That's another thing that you can use to dip your crackers in. So another thing that I've done is, with a couple of packets, I've made some traffic lights. So we've put some tomatoes on one for the red. We've got some grated carrot on another for the orange, and a slice of lovely cucumber on the last one for a green. And that's just a bit of fun that the children might like. Another option is the tubes of squeezy cheese. I think they're Primula, and they can come in different flavours as well. They're really good value because they go a really long way, especially on these crackers. And then children can make up smiley faces using some cherry tomatoes or bits of carrot for the nose, or just be really creative about what colours they use to make their snacks up. So they're really good as well. So apologies, as I said, you will be getting lots of those crackers, but put them to good use. If you haven't used them all for snack items, then a brilliant idea is to take them out the wrappers, put them into a plastic bag, and then give them a pulp with the bottom of a rolling pin or something quite heavy, a milk bottle or something, and then break them into, I'm going to do this into my snack box, and break them into small pieces. They go down quite nicely. And if you add that, as you can see, that's gone into quite small flaky pieces now. If you add a little bit of grated cheese into that, that makes a great topping for macaroni cheese or cauliflower cheese. After it's been baked, you just sprinkle some over the top, give it literally another minute in the oven to let the cheese melt through, and that gives you a crispy topping on the top of your mac cheese or a cauliflower cheese. So that's a really good idea, and you can use those that way as well. So other snack items to keep us away from the things that are not necessarily good for us. So vegetable sticks. Don't try and feed your child a whole carrot. As much as I love them, you know, they do get a little bit wearing after a while. So we've got a mixture here. I've got a cherry tomato. Peppers are really good value at the moment, and they're all very sweet. The green ones are less sweet because they are getting more ripe. So you've got green, yellow and red, and the yellow and reds are really, really sweet. The greens are a little less so, but you can chop those up and put them into any casserole. And then I've got cucumber sticks as well. And if this is something that you wouldn't normally eat, don't forget, this is the sort of thing that your children have been having in their free fruit and veg bags at school every day. So that won't be unusual for them. So we got some fresh fruit and veg there. Rice cakes. We might have passed these by once the children had got past toddling, but these again are really very versatile. Most of the toppings that we've just talked about would sit really nicely on a rice cake, and providing you've got some flavour in there, so some herbs or some spices in the cream cheese or whatever you're going to put on the top. A lot of people will say these are a bit like eating cardboard, but they're quite filling and they take a little while to eat, and if you put something tasty on the top, then rice cakes are not to be overlooked because they're really good value. I've got some dried fruit here. These are sultanas. You can buy the little packets of raisins, but that's a really expensive way of buying fruit. It's much better for you if you can buy a bag and then portion them out so that you give the children as many as they need, but it's not as expensive as a box. And just a top tip here as well, what's a portion? Who knows? We're all different sizes. So a really great way of thinking about an appropriate portion size for your children, no matter how old they are, or yourself as an adult, is what fits into the palm of your hand. So I can get most of this pot of sultanas into the palm of my hand. That's a portion for me. But if I'm a little 5-year-old, then I would imagine that that would be more of a portion. So whatever can fit in the palm of the hand is the portion size, and that fits for most of your snack items. So the fruit and the vegetables and the dried fruit as well. Another one of my favourites, and sometimes you can get these, you know, really quite cheaply, are dried apricots. These keep really well, And if you do find yourself left with a few of these, you can stir these in through rice pudding or into a casserole dish to make it a little more sweet. And again, whatever fits into the palm of your hand, so 4 or 5 apricots, that's all you would need for a large child, and that would be a good portion too. So there we've got a few ideas for you. I hope you found them helpful. So get making your snack container, give it a trial, give it a whirl, see what you think, and perhaps you can post some of your thoughts on our Facebook page, Make Lunch up at USBC, and perhaps if you've got pictures of the snack items that your children have made or how they've decorated their boxes, you can upload those onto the Facebook page as well and let everybody see how you're doing. I do hope that you're all having a fantastic summer so far. It's been a bit traditionally English, hasn't it, with lots of rain and some sunshine and some nice weather. So let's hope that the weather perks up and we get a nice few weeks where we can get out and about. So I do pray that you all stay safe and that you all stay well and that we get to see you all soon. So take care. Goodbye.